This is the plaintiff, Myrna Doroval. She says she agreed to rent an apartment from the defendant, who promised it would be ready in 2 weeks. She believed that promise and paid a deposit. As time got closer to moving in, she realized the place was not going to be ready. It had smoke damage from prior tenants, and quite frankly, looked like a drug hangout. She wasn't about to expose her children to that. She told the defendant she wanted her deposit back just 24 hours after giving it to her, and she refused to return it. So she's suing for $1,300. This is the defendant, Brenda K. Escobalas. She says she's been managing buildings and apartments for 20 years. She has a 4-man crew. And when she promises a place will be ready on time for move-in day, it's ready. This woman simply got cold feet. Deposits are non-refundable, and she's sorry, but she's not returning any monies. She's accused of making a tenant mad.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says that she was going to move into the defendant's apartment, and it was supposed to be ready in 2 weeks from the time she signed the lease. It wasn't ready. She wants out. But the defendant says she's been doing this for years, and when she says it's ready, it's ready. It's the case of ready or not, here I come.
Thank you, Douglas. Ms. Doroval, can you tell me why you've come to court today suing someone you've known a long time who's helped you get other apartments before? You gave her some money and she won't return it to you, correct?
Yes.
What happened? You found an apartment, you liked it, and you gave a deposit?
I found an apartment. I reached out to Brenda. I found an apartment from her. Fortunately, when I went to see the apartment, it was really bad in there. And I tried to explain to her why I didn't want to take the apartment, but
hold on one second. Hold on. Did you give her the $1,300 after you saw it?
I gave her the $1,300. Yes, 2 days after
you saw it. All right. So
yes.
If you didn't want it, why did you give her the $1,300?
Because she said she was going to get everything fixed, clean, ready to go. But I had to give the deposit by the 14th. I was supposed to move in on the 14th.
Okay, and then what happened?
So in order for her to get the apartment ready for me, I had to leave her a deposit. But when I reached out to her after I gave her the deposit to see if the apartment was going to be ready, she said she could only clean it and be able to maybe do a little touch up. But from what I seen, it doesn't look like something that just need a touch up. It needed to be trashed out. It needed to be fixed. It was leaking. Issue was going on inside. The patio screen was completely broken, needed to be done. The slide door was broken. The bathrooms was damaged, and the shower was very moldy. So within the time that I gave her the deposit, thinking
how much later did you tell her I don't want the place?
Couple hours later. I gave it to her on a Friday.
Okay, so if you told her a couple of hours, stop. So if you give her a deposit and then a couple of hours later you say, I want my deposit back, it has nothing to do with a change in circumstances because it's only a couple of hours later. So nothing changed from the time that you agreed to give the deposit to the time that you changed your mind about having to give the deposit. It's not like you waited, you looked, and then you saw that they weren't going to finish or anything else. What's the real reason? Why did you change your mind?
Because she said that she couldn't fix what some of the stuff that was needed worked on. She said she was going to try to reach out.
Why didn't you have that clear up between the two of you before you hand her the money? Tell her, I want these 10 things fixed. Are they going to be fixed? And get that in writing, and then you give a deposit.
Because that afternoon when we meet up, I told her this is what I needed to get done. We text back and forth about the apartment.
Oh, show me the text where you tell her I need this or that done. Show me the text, because I have the texts.
This is one page.
So I'm looking here. Do you have anything for me? She says, yes, in a really nice neighborhood. The door is unlocked. You can go right in, blah, blah, blah. And then you say, hey, it's okay, Brenda. It's going to cost me way more than $650 to get a proper fix done in that apartment. I'll pay the full deposit of $1,300 for him to fix everything in there. 1, patio screens need to be changed out. Laundry room shelf all worn out. 2, the vertical blinds need to be changed out. 3, is this what you're holding up? Yeah, I got it. 3,
Yes.
the kitchen cabinets are all worn out, falling apart on the inside. 4, kitchen light platform is falling off and also broken. 5, apartment needs, this is actually a really good list, needs full paint, the walls are pretty dirty. 6, the smell of smoke inside is very heavy, it needs an ozone machine. 7, all the blinds are broken, need to be replaced. 8, the second bedroom closet door is broken. 9, the second bathroom is broken. These things are gonna cost me way more, so $1,300 for a security deposit, it's really a lot, especially since the apartment's not in great condition. You say, okay. And then what happens? You say
Then
that it's going to
she-
be okay, and did anything go wrong, Ms. Escobalas? Well, all of a sudden it wasn't going to be okay?
No. I mean, it was literally the next day. I told her that we were going to start on Monday. And we did start on Monday. But on Saturday, like, what I did because I knew her was I already had held the apartment for almost 10 days without even receiving the deposit because I knew her. And she said, but I've seen it and I really want it. And I said, okay, as soon as you leave the deposit, then I'll get them in there and I'll get them start working. And the only discussion that I told her that might be a problem was the kitchen cabinets. And I said, maybe later after you move in, we can discuss changing them out. I said, but I will
When
paint
did you tell her
inside them
that?
and I will repair
when
them.
Did you,
Excuse
when
me?
did you when did you tell her that? When did you tell her maybe later
Well,
after you move in?
that's when we
can-
met in the apartment. When we met in the apartment, when she gave me the
Is
deposit.
this before or after you give her the $1,300 that you tell her that?
This is when we were talking when we met in the apartment. She went once herself by
Before
herself.
or after she gives you the $1,300?
After, I believe. I think after. We had the discussion the
Okay,
time when
well,
she
if
was
it's
at the
after,
time
then
she was
if
giving
she
it to
thinks
me.
that, all right, I got it. So now, so when she tells you, I really don't want it if he's not going to fix everything I demanded when I gave them the deposit, and it turns out you, I see in numerous texts, are assuring her that you're going to give her the money once it's re-rented. Is that right?
Right. And then she went to court and filed a lawsuit before I had a chance to even do it. It was literally like 6 days later. So after that,
Did you
there was
file the
nothing I could
lawsuit
do.
6 days later?
Welcome back to the People's Court. The plaintiff says the apartment that she rented from the defendant wasn't ready on time. She was not about to expose her daughter to the smoke damage that was inside. The defendant saying this apartment was absolutely ready to move in and she is not going to give the plaintiff her money back. Let's go back into the courtroom.
Did you literally file a case against her 6 days later?
Yes, the only reason I did that, she sent me a text message saying that she had the apartment ready to go. I choose not to get it. So I feel like she was trying to ambush me by saying she had already have it ready for me. She didn't have it ready for me because everything happened within 1 week.
I had it ready in 3 days. It was ready on Wednesday to move
It's
in.
you know
and
what?
I
I
actually
think the
rented it.
ready, not ready is truthfully isn't an issue for me. You had it re-rented by when?
By the 14th.
Oh, so no harm, no foul. You're not any damages. Is that why you
Right.
told her several times you'd give her the money, and you didn't
Sure.
want to give it to her because she filed a lawsuit against you? So because now you're going to make her work for her money.
Not really.
I don't blame you.
just
It's
was sitting
okay.
here.
Be honest.
I mean, I was like, wow, I didn't even see it coming. I've known this girl for like so long, and I rented her literally her first apartment with her kids. I saw her kids be. I don't have any hard feelings for her. I like Mina. I mean, she calls me all the time, and how are you? How are you and your family? Like we've always kept in touch. And this is not the first time I've showed her an apartment. I've spent time with her, showing her other apartments, but she wasn't ready to take the step, and I never pushed her. I had another apartment at
Right. I'm
Linwood that
looking
they were
at some
putting
text.
brand new kitchen cabinets in.
All right, but here's some text from me. I'll have your check within the next 2 hours. Okay, I'll meet you in the property. Can I meet you in the property? Yes, I'll text as soon as I have it. I'm on my lunch break. Can I come now? Brenda, it's been 2 hours, and you're telling her, listen, my whole life doesn't revolve around it, and you guys go back and forth. What we have here is a failure to communicate. Boy.
Yes, it was. It was
Then
a
she
journey.
says,
That's why
I feel
was
like you're giving me the
afraid.
runaround. Just give me the owner's number. Why is it so hard? Yada, yada, yada. All right. It sounds to me like you normally tell people this is a non-refundable deposit, right?
I always.
But you didn't this time. And not
No,
only did
because
you not
I
this
knew
time,
her.
you also assured her, I know, but you also assured, but typically deposits are non-refundable. Guess what? Deposits are non-refundable, Ms. Dorival. You don't get them back if you change your mind. Now, she's got a good reason for wanting this one back, which is that when I asked you the question, when did you tell her you're not going to get new cabinets, you said after, and then you said, well, during. So there's enough wiggle room there. And when I add to that, the fact that you told her over and over and over you were going to give it back to her, and that she's relying on that to be able to get the new place because she thinks that she's going to be getting her money back to get a new place, I'm going to order you to go ahead and return this security deposit in this very limited circumstances. Verdict for the plaintiff, $1,300. Thank you, folks.
Not any of my time refunded. Okay.
So the plaintiff is going to get her refund back. Ms. Escobales, let me ask you a question. You're the defendant. You're the one who has to give the money back to her. You okay with doing that now? I mean, you know her a long time.
Well, I just was kind of surprised she didn't give me any time to try and get her back something. But what I'm very shocked at is that the time that I spent, that I usually get paid half a month's rent as my fee to rent these apartments and take my time and spend my energy, and I'm getting absolutely nothing out of it. And I've lost time today from my own job and my own work to do this because she wanted to go to court. So I'm not really happy about it, and I'm done with it.
Let me ask you one other question. Did you really get it fixed up so it's nice? And, it sounded like it was in really
Yep, I have a tenant
condition
in there right now who pays rent, and she loves the place, and I fixed it perfect. The only thing I didn't do was change the cabinets. I did everything else in the apartment she wanted.
All right. Well, she'll get her money back. Thank you very much. You're very nice about it. All right, Ms. Dorival, I have a question for you. Let me ask you a quick question. When you looked at the apartment and made that list of things that you thought needed repair, why did you want the apartment? Why didn't you keep looking for something else?
The space. I have 2 small children that I wanted. It was big enough for me and the girls.
All right. Well, that's good enough reason for where you live. All right, Ms. Dorival, you're getting your money back. Congratulations. You happy now?
Thank you. Yes, I am very happy. Thank you.
You are welcome. All right. That'll do it for this case. Now, let's get some more fascinating conversation between Judge Millian and her husband, Judge John, after the verdict.
Marilyn, you and I have been down these mean streets a few times before of trying to find a good apartment for our kids in areas that were in high demand where it's hard to get them. And when you deal with a broker or some third party who's not the landlord especially, you can pretty much presume it's going to be a non-refundable deposit in most cases, right?
In almost all cases, whether it's a broker or not a broker, they're non-refundable.
That's how apartments
work. In other words, the default position is that the deposit is non-refundable if you change your mind. I think what made this one different and special is that she was right. She gave that entire laundry list of things before she gave the deposit. And when I asked the defendant, when did you tell her that you weren't going to change the cabinets? I said, well, the day that we met there. Well, was it before or after? She said, after. And then a couple of seconds later then said, during,
And how significant was it that the defendant in this case actually said, sure, I'll give you your deposit back?
Well, she said it so many times that I think those 2 things just put it over the hurdle where it's just not fair not to give it back to her. And plus she waited and waited to get it back. I mean, she did file a lawsuit within 6 days.
A bit of a race to the courthouse.
She sprinted to the courthouse, but she really should have given it just a little bit more time.
Perhaps, and then she would have avoided the courthouse maybe altogether.
And the additional 5 or 6 month wait that she's had.
Jennifer, you can absolutely sue somebody for defamation of character if they say something about you that is false online and it causes you to lose your job because somebody believes it. People think you can say whatever you want on social media. You cannot. If you lie and it is damaging, you can be sued. And that'll do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.